evolution of the head skeleton.
This is evolution of the head skeleton.
Oh, I'm sorry. You need the
one from slide 1.
This one. Yeah, this one's correct. Here. The tympanic bulla is from a tympanic bone, and the tympanic bone is this part here, and a canine cartilage replacement bone, endotympanic. This part. Okay. Okay. So. Arch. No, of the temporal bone.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
That's the nuchal crest. That's the structure. But this part here and this part here, that's the occipital bone.
Okay.
This one here is your interparietal. Okay. What bone is this?
Temporal.
Perfect.
Pterygoid. Nasal. Yes, and the nerve. Palate.
That's your premaxilla.
Maxilla.
And there's
And
the palatine.
That's your palatine.
Okay.
So one more time, I repeat, premaxilla.
Maxilla. Palatine.
Okay. Alright, let's go through the sphenoids, okay? So the first sphenoid you go through, you always orient yourself.
Basiosphenoid.
Basisphenoid, that's your base. Presphenoid. Basisphenoid forms a sharp one. Presphenoid. The alisphenoid, this part here and here, that goes all the way to the side and goes through the first 3 holes. First 3 holes over here, forming kind of like an alley. That's your alisphenoid. The alisphenoid surrounds the presphenoid here and the basisphenoid here. Okay? One more time. Basisphenoid, presphenoid, alisphenoid. And where's your orbitosphenoid? This one here, the most anterior hole. This whole portion here is orbitosphenoid, right? Orbitosphenoid. Sorry. Okay? Orbitosphenoid. And then let's see, this one here?
Foramen magnum.
Foramen magnum. This one here?
Occipital condyle.
Your 2 occipital condyles. Okay. I think we're done, but I want to make sure you guys are clear about the portions, alright? Okay, so your temporal bone has 3 portions: the petrous portion, the squamous portion, and the tympanic portion. So let me start. The tympanic portion is pretty simple. It's just composed of the tympanic portion, component of the tympanic bulla, which is this endotympanic right here, and the tympanic bone. So these 2 form the tympanic portion of the temporal bone. And then you have the squamous portion of the temporal bone, which is this part here, plus the posterior part of your zygomatic arch. So that makes up the squamous portion of your temporal bone. The last portion is the petrous portion of your temporal bone, which is the mastoid process. It's inside here. And the bones encasing the inner ear. These are all on the inside. So those form the petrous portion of your temporal bone. And then you cannot forget your lower jaw as well. Coronoid. Condylar. And so what is the jaw joint articulation? Perfect. So that settles the cat. See? It's pretty simple, right? I mean, come on, it really is. I mean, after a few times, you know. Is there anything you guys want me to repeat?
We repeat the structure and then the bones that make up the
Okay.
The bulla.
So it's the temporal bone is divided into three portions, right? The tympanic portion, made out of the endotympanic, or the endotympanic and the tympanic bone. Okay? The endotympanic is the bone that makes up the structure, which is the tympanic bulla. Next, you have the squamous portion of the temporal bone, which is this flat part right here, and the squamous portion of the zygomatic arch. But if I were to ask you, what is this? You tell me, squamous portion of temporal bone. Okay? Last, you have the
Wait, well, what if you point at it and you're like, what's the structure? It's like, is it going to be zygomatic arch? Or
the
is it
structure
gonna
is the zygomatic arch.
The
But if I
bone.
point out to you, identify this bone or this part here, then it will be the squamous portion of the temporal bone. So the last part will be the petrous portion of the temporal bone, and that's made out of the mastoid process and inside here, and the bones encasing the inner ear, which are all inside. So you have your petrous portion, your tympanic portion, and your squamous portion.
Great, thank you.
Sure.